So when I talk about content promotion 2.0, these are the channels. Earned media, paid media, and owned media. Social media and email reside in the owned media bucket. The earned media bucket is where, how many of you have heard of influencer marketing? It's a hot topic right now. I see some hands. That's earned media, influencer marketing. How many of you have heard of the tried and true PR tool they call media relations? That's earned media. That's you contacting a journalist that covers a topic that your business is involved in, right? And you share some content with them, and they write a story on it, and they link to it, and they talk about it. And then on the paid channels, what I'm not talking about is display advertising. I'm not talking about PPC. What I'm talking about is native advertising and press releases and some social native advertising, sponsored content, advertorials, okay? There's a reason why I'm not talking about display advertising and PPC. And this is why. As content marketers, the content that we create resides at the top of our funnel. Those articles, right? Those ebooks, those guides, those studies, those infographics. We're not really trying to sell anything with those articles, right? What do we know as marketers when we produce that content and we get a visitor? We know that there's still additional investment that needs to be made to nurture those people down further through the funnel. There's additional investment. So why would we bother to use display advertising or PPC to promote a blog post when we can promote middle to bottom funnel content instead? Like a coupon, like a product, right? That's why I don't include those channels on the top funnel content promotion and distribution. So, David Ogilvy, one of the original Mad Men, this is a quote that he's famous for. As content marketers, as people that create content, what do we want people to do with that content? We want them to read it, right? Well, he said that the less your content looks like an advertisement, the likelihood of people stopping and reading that content increases. And here's an example of that. The banner ads are highlighted. You see any color on them? Those are heat maps. No, there's no color on them. You know why? Because nobody's paying attention to them. You're more likely to survive a plane crash than click on a banner ad. Anybody in here get into MIT? Anybody? No? How about anybody complete Navy SEAL training? No? All right, no one in this room clicked on a banner ad today. Good job. So, here's the interest over time for banner advertising. It's going down. Here's the interest over time for native advertising. As content marketers, we are craving a paid solution to distribute our top funnel content at scale. We're begging for it. Companies like Outbrain and Taboola and others are trying to deliver a solution, okay? It's still in its infancy, but this is a reflection of that gap that we need filled as content marketers. So when I talk about native, I'm really talking about these two channels. There's 6 separate kinds of native advertising that the IAB says exists. When I talk about top of the funnel content distribution and promotion, what I'm really talking about is in-feed units and recommendation widgets. So an in-feed unit is your promoted post on Facebook, right? You see those as boosted posts? That's an in-feed unit. It's with the regular organic content. Another in-feed unit would be, how many of you saw the article, The Orange is the New Black, that Netflix published in the New York Times? Nobody? Okay, that's a sponsored content piece. So essentially, a company, Netflix, paid the New York Times to write an article, a real news story, and publish it with their logo on it. That's an in-feed unit. That's native advertising. And then the recommendation widgets are your Outbrains, Tabulas, AdBlades, Rev Contents, companies like that. So when you scroll down to the bottom of an article on the Huffington Post, you see recommendations for 6 other articles that you might want to click on and read. That is a recommendation widget. Oh, and generally, the native advertising that I'm talking about is way cheaper than display advertising in PPC. The reason it's cheaper and the reason why it's a good solution for us is because we know we have an additional investment to make from our top funnel to our mid funnel to our bottom funnel, right? This is a channel for top funnel content. So this is happening. These companies are blowing up right now. Most of social's gone native. They're trying to fill that void. Oh, what do we have here? Search engines are buying native advertising companies. And here's something that probably none of you in this room have ever heard. I don't know anybody else that's talking about this. But the 800-pound gorilla in the room, Google, already has a native network in private beta. Private beta. My guess is it will probably be released publicly next year. Now, as expected, they're going to have content recommendations. They're going to go after Taboola and Outbrain and the others. But they're going to do something that no one's doing. They're going to have sponsored articles on blogs and premium publications. So this is what Google's doing. You're going to be able to go into Google. You're going to be able to write an article. And you're going to be able to submit that article at scale to 100 different blogs and maybe 2 or 3 premium publications. And you're going to tell, through Google, you're going to tell them, hey, I'm willing to pay this if you publish my content. And they're either going to publish it or they're not. It gives you access to a larger audience at scale. This is coming. This is one of the solutions to our problem as top funnel content marketers. So, I talked about sponsored content, what Netflix did with the New York Times. This is how much brands on average spent in 2013. Why are they investing in this channel? They're trying to find this solution to the gap created by the broken promises of search and social, the build it and they will come model. So publishers are getting on board. Publishers have struggled for decades to figure out the proper business model for the internet. Struggled. Many of them have gone out of business. Some of them have laid off journalists, and a ton of them. They've closed foreign bureaus because they can't figure out their business model online. Well, the good news is new media is here. BuzzFeed, Viral Nova, Huffington Post, and on and on and on and on. They figured out their business model. They're selling sponsored content, and it's working for them. BuzzFeed, over 95% of their revenues from this. They call them sponsored listicles, and brands are paying for it. This is what some premium publications charge for a sponsored article. That's a lot of money. But brands are paying for it. Why? Because they want access to their audience. And they want access to an audience that will read their content, just like David Ogilvy was talking about. This provides access. Now, I've talked about native advertising. This is a native advertisement. We spent 6 months and contacted over 1,000 publishers. 550 of them told them everything about their sponsored content program, from mommy bloggers all the way up to premium publications. This is a free download. Anybody in this room can download this study for free if you're interested in sponsored content. This is the most thorough research sponsored content piece that exists in the world today. So I recommend, if content promotion on this paid channel is something you want to consider, definitely download this guide. The bit.ly link is right there. So I talked about the paid channel. Now let's get to the earned channel. This is the interest for influencer marketing over time. Influencer marketing, I actually get hit up 3 to 6 times a week from marketers that want to get me involved in some type of content production with them or an interview, okay? The reason they do that is because I have a vested interest in my content doing well. If I'm involved in it, what am I going to do? I'm going to promote it. And I have an audience who will listen to it. That's influencer marketing. And it's huge right now, and it works. So this is a very sad statistic. I was able to figure out that brands spent, on average, at least this amount on content promotion. The reason this is a sad statistic is because based on our own agency's work, we've been able to figure out that our successful clients spend 45% of our time, energy, and effort on content promotion. Content promotion. That's budget, time, energy, effort. Some of you are sitting in this room saying, well, I don't do anything, but I tweet my article and share it on Facebook. You got to get in the mindset of promotion. 40 to 60% of your time, energy, and effort, you need to focus on promotion.